I've been on quite a few metro networks in the past and live in one of the largest bus networks in the USA, but none of those networks really quite compared to this one. So I wanted to share my thoughts and experiences with living with this beast and detail some of its flaws. This is the UK's London Underground. We start off our day with Leytonstone Station, small and centrally located within the town. When you first arrive at the station, what jumps to your eye first isn't the trains or the gate, but for many stations, it's a store, open early and late hours, serving the public coffee, snacks, and tea as they make their way to and from work, or wherever they're going. Around the area, you also find bike storage and bus stops. Once you reach the turnstiles, you're greeted with the option to buy a physical card or ticket, or use your credit card or phone to get through. When I was living there, I only used my credit card. The ticket booth was more complicated and slower as a visitor than just a simple tap to get on and tap to leave. The system automatically calculated my fare at the end station. For coming in and out of the city and plan on walking, there is no need to buy tickets or a card, in my opinion. Once you're through the gate and grab your map, you'll be greeted with the platform. Now, there's a rather famous saying that goes along with it too: mind the gap. You'll find it on t-shirts, you'll find it on mugs, you'll find it on everything. And you might want to heed its warning, as the crossings are often not level. You could definitely sneak a foot in there, and that would not be fun. On the platforms, you can find signs awaiting your transfers, which are colorfully color-coded correctly according to the convention. Be prepared if you plan on going at rush hours, which is about 8 or 9 a.m. and 5 and 6 p.m. You may not even be able to fit on the train, even standing. Although if you're really squeezed in with everyone else, you can fit. If you're at a big station like Liverpool, be prepared for lots of people at all times. When we had to navigate to the West End or to Westminster or anywhere, Google Maps was my best friend. As someone who was only going to live there for a little bit, I relied heavily on Google Maps. From my experience, it was seamless. Google always seemed to have the right times for all the trains, compared prices and transfers, and gave us all the information we could need to effectively use the tube. Sometimes you would get a newer model from 2010, which is still slightly dated, but nothing compared to the 1995 model. Every time we boarded, it seemed like a dice roll which train we would get. It's honestly shocking how different they are and how spacious the new one is compared to the older one. What you could not ever forget on every single train we rode was the noise. It was everywhere, it was loud, it was non-stop. You could maybe escape it when there was lots of people on the train. Otherwise, no luck. If I had to use the system for my entire life, I'd probably wear earplugs. It ruined a lot of what otherwise was a very pleasant and safe experience. Once you were off the train and outside, London had a lot to offer in terms of getting around. There were the famous black taxi cabs everywhere, which I guess you could take, but more often than not, there was ample sidewalks and bus service to and from where the tube couldn't take you. Walking in and around the city through Chinatown, and through many squares that we visited, was amazing. And if I had to live in a big city, I would want a transit network like this one. Maybe minus the noise. We never had to wait long for a train, and on average it was about 2 to 3 minutes. The longest we ever had to wait for a train was 8 minutes. Compared to Paris, which I'll cover in my next video, the times were better by an average, I would say, 5 to 6 minutes. The underground is also super reliable, but there was more than one time where our train had to stop briefly for some sort of issue with the line we were on. They will tell you whatever's going on, however, and it's usually nothing that takes super long. Its systems are super well designed and easy to use. The map itself is a 10 out of 10 in its design alone, but the ticketing system was a little complicated, and we just ended up using our credit cards, which I think is the intended purpose, but if you tried to buy tickets, it would be more complicated. Every station we went to was very integrated within the city. We never got off and had nothing to look at. Always some sort of town, always some sort of happening. It was also very well connected with the rest of the network. Now, if I had to rate the system, I would rate the London Underground as an 8.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, you don't even have to hit subscribe. Just leave a comment telling me how I could improve, and that's all I could really ask for.